welcome to On Console, the video blog about my journey to becoming a more fully certified NASA flight controller. Hi again, Jenny here. So it is the afternoon after my last night shift and my week long of night shifts at NASA International Space Station Mission Control. I'm about, I don't know, like 236% full of caffeine right now. I have no idea what number coffee this is. So with that, wanted to give you guys a video about my final a little bit and also my first week of working in mission control. So let's do this. So after my final, it was a lot of debriefs with my evaluators, my supervisor, the flight director evaluator, talking about technical misses and things I just need to improve on to make sure that I have covered going into real time. And then we started talking about my shifts going forward. So again, if you missed it, after you pass your final simulation, you have, in my branch, about 10 or so days of work in real time with a mentor. So you can kind of get the ropes, don't just be thrown into the deep end. And I can definitely say, very glad I have a mentor because real time is completely different from simulations. So my first shift for mission control ended up being about 6 days of Orbit 1, which runs from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. This is actually the first time I have actually done a lengthy amount of night shifts in a row. So first of all, kudos to people who work night shift because that is difficult. Secondly, we usually take about a couple days beforehand to sleep shift into that schedule. So being my first time sleep shifting and trying to figure out, when to sleep, when to be awake, how much coffee to drink was kind of like, oh, what day is it? What year is it? I don't know. And then now that I can see daylight and the sun, and trying to go back onto normal people hours, it's kind of like how to perform basic human functions and search. But yes, so sleep shifting aside and figuring out the tiredness and all of that, there was a lot of things to learn. So of course there's a lot of technical learning to be done. There's how to do plan reviews for upcoming events for space station, how to, go into flight notes and things like that between all the disciplines. There's also our own systems where, how to handle problems real time, which is a lot more methodical than they are in sims, and how to recognize some of the error messages we see on a daily basis. Which would usually freak me out if I didn't have someone there to be like, no, it's fine, we see that all the time, this is what it means. So that was good, and just kind of learning how to use those tools in real time. And there was also communicating on the flight loop and the other loops, just pretty much trying not to make an idiot out of myself.
Okay, this is easy. There is literally nothing complicated about this call, just gotta get it out there.
Potato.
Never mind.
Even though there was a learning curve with some of the technical side as well as the communicating side, I had my mentor there, thankfully, and a lot of the team worked with me through some of my newbie fumbles, so definitely learned a lot, feeling more confident going into my next set of shifts, and then eventually by myself in real time. But despite those little embarrassing moments, I still got to do a lot of really cool things for my first week of mission control. So during my first week, I got to talk to some of our international partners. I got to do some plan reviews for schedules that impact the astronauts on board and us on the ground. I got to give the go, no-go for Dragon launch on behalf of CRONUS, and I got to do my own troubleshooting and looking into some anomalies that we saw. And I also got to support the Dragon, the abort, and then the capture. So, of course, I would never wish for an abort, but it was an interesting experience to kind of see what happens when things aren't nominal and when things don't go as planned, and just seeing how to support that versus the capture day, which was really cool. We got the camera angles from Robo about where to point it at, where Dragon was approaching ISS, and we also got to kind of search around with the HD cameras. So I was in the back doing all the controlling for the cameras for both of those, and seeing some of those images being posted out on social media and, just being out there and knowing you had a little part to do with it is is really cool. And especially with the HD camera, I kept asking my CRONUS in the front room, like, can I move it just a little bit? It's just this perfect view right there. And we finally got this great view at the end of Dragon being attached to space station. And yeah, it's crazy. I think throughout your training and simulations, you know, they always stress when you're in the room, when you're in CRONUS, you're representing the branch, you're representing, you know, the discipline that is in charge of the computers, the communication systems. And I don't think I ever fully felt it until real time, when people were coming to me with questions and coming to me with, you know, things of what's going on and double checking with me. And it just kind of hit me. I'm like, yeah, I'm the expert in the room on these systems, and I'm helping to fly the space station. So yeah, it's still, I think I'm still in shock and disbelief, but it's indescribable, and I can't wait for my next couple of shifts with a mentor, and then eventually serving real time in mission control by myself. Well, that's all for this episode. Be sure to check out my other sites and pages and take a look at the first or previous episodes if you haven't already. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time and for many more as, well, I'm on console now, which there have been a lot of jokes about that in my branch. So, I hope to see you next time and for many more as we continue this journey of being on console. Thanks, and have a great week.